The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will be live.
Greetings, my fellow warriors, boy Meckanimal, and today we're going to answer one of our fellow warrior questions. The question is whether we can effectively replace the back squat, the weighted back squat, with the weighted pistol squat. And that's the question that is not the first time recurring. So I decided that we should address the issue. And if it brings us to actually wonder, why would you want to replace the back squat with a weighted pistol squat? And I'm gonna go straight to the point. If it's out of ego, like pride, that you want to solely be invested in training calisthenics and bodyweight training, which will not be the case anyway if you start adding weight and making it some weighted calisthenics, it's no longer strictly calisthenics, then you are out of luck. I'm gonna have to disappoint you that you cannot replace the back squat effectively using the pistols, the weighted pistol squat, let alone the pistol squat itself. Because some people will vouch and swear by anything that you can effectively work your legs to a decent size. I mean, to the greater size using only the pistol squat. And you can definitely work to a decent size, but if you, especially if you are coming from a really remote background and you have a lot of mass to put on, you definitely will have a harder time achieving that using just the pistol squat. And yeah, so if it's out of ego, the answer is definitely not. If it's out of lack of resource or lack of equipment, then it only makes sense that you can definitely use the pistol squat and the weighted pistol squat eventually as a really efficient way to compensate for the lack of access to the back squat. Now, let's go into the intricacy of the issue. The reason why you cannot replace the back squats with the weighted pistol squat is because the transferability of performance is not gonna work as smooth as you wish. You would think that, okay, if I'm able to work on the weighted pistol squat a certain way using one leg, I'll be able to transfer that strength that I've gained in my quads, in my glutes and the hamstring to a certain extent to the back squat and be able to have some great performance on the back squat. It will be a decent transfer, and the reverse will not be possible. However, that's why I could consider learning the pistol squat as a really not necessary, but like it's a tool that can come handy at any given time. So everybody who would have the opportunity to invest time in learning the pistol squat, it's a skill that requires mobility and everything, but once you get the tool, you can use it pretty much any time. The simple case, the most obvious case is in this time of quarantine, those who have the ability to do the squat with one leg will just be fine, maintaining the strength, if not at least building the work capacity required to pick up the job whenever you get back to the gym and have access to the back squat again. So learning the pistol squat is definitely something that if you have the ability to, you should learn. That can always come handy. But using the pistol squat itself and claim and thinking that is the end all be all just because you want to train strictly calisthenics will possibly be the wrong idea. Again, everybody got different goals, right? You can just stick to the pistol squat and be just fine. It will deliver some level of athleticism that definitely could be up to par. If you have goals of aspiring, goals of playing sport and high explosion demanding sport, just the pistol squat is not going to do it. It can actually be an accessory to to whatever barbell work you will be working with, to be able to achieve those performance in sport. And yeah, so the transferability is definitely limited. However, it is possible to transfer some type of strength from the pistol squat to the barbell squat. The reverse will not be possible, because you will have to learn the skill itself. So you could be super strong on the back squat and still not be able to pistol squat, and it will not be because you lack the strength to do so. It's mostly because you lack the balance and the whole motor skill that's required for you to perform the pistol squat. All the motor control is lacking. So even though you have the strength, you definitely will have a hard time. If not, you will not be able to perform the pistol squat. The most important reason why you will not be able to transfer the power of the pistol squat to the barbell squat is on the load. Actually, no matter how much you end up carrying, on the weighted pistol squat, that load is always going to be so minimal that even if you have the strength to push, your torso will be limited by how much you can handle. So let's say you have the strength in your leg to push, I say 300 pounds. You may go, once you start barbell squatting and you don't have the ability to hold that 300 pounds on your back or whatever on your upper body, you will not be able to use the power that you gain from pistol squat in the leg form. So your quads will be super strong. Maybe your hamstring will not be developed enough if you had not gone through the full range of motion, and maybe your glutes is not as strong as it should, so that all of them can work as synergy to be able to help you push that 300 pounds that you want to push. So your leg themselves may be able to push that much weight, but because you're not used to holding that much weight on your back or on your front, you will not be able to transfer the power itself. So I'm talking from experience, because I myself, I started using pistol squat only. Eventually I graduated using weighted pistol squat, but the moment I wanted to transfer, I had a pretty strong leg, decent leg, but I couldn't transfer that full power to the back squat. And what I noticed is I was limited by how much load I can carry. Even though I could weighted pistol some substantial amount of weight, I kind of believe that I'm among some very advanced people when it comes to weighted calisthenics. But my back squat is pretty decent. I think I clocked about 415, which is pretty good, right? But it's definitely very far from something elite. I'm at the lower end of advanced, which is pretty fine. But I wish I had probably started earlier incorporating the back squat and the pistol squat together, so that I can develop into like a crazier machine, that can just perform both efficiently. My mindset was different at the beginning. I wanted to stick to as much body weight as possible, even though I started evolving more than the average people that I know that just got stuck into they want to be purist. Again, that's another topic. I think I've addressed that before already. You do you, right? But like I said, I started evolving, but it was kind of late. And even then, I was still caught up in the idea that I don't want to spend too much time using training the back squat. So I was still sticking to doing the pistol squat and the weighted pistol squat, because I feel like even if I had just stuck to moderate training of pistol and focus on my back squat, I'll be able to pistol squat more, because as long as my absolute strength is going up on the back squat, the pistol squat I already have the technique itself. It will be much easier to work on the both leg squat and transfer the power on my pistol squat, as opposed to just focusing solely on the pistol squat, just because I was stuck up with the idea that I want to stay as much as possible in a calisthenics area. So that's something that eventually I detached myself from, and here I am today. Even until now, I feel like I could have be a stronger back squatter if I had spent more time, back squatting from the beginning. Because even then, I started really focusing more on the back squat. I think 2015 when I did the squat every day, and that was another mistake that I think I did, because it was good for the mindset, but I just went AWOL and burned myself up, which set me back again. So my back squat journey has been some type of roller coaster, and anytime I tend to peak, something always happens, and then I forget it and I focus on all the stuff. But overall, it was a pretty good journey because I have a decent strength, but nothing that I can use to compete, obviously, in the powerlifting domain. But in terms of pistol squat performance, I'm definitely up there. It's something that's substantial. I have pretty good technique and I can sustain some pretty good load. But again, who cares? Because there's no such thing as a federation that gets you to compete in pistol squat, right? So, like I said, the transferability is there, but should you replace? The answer is no, you should not replace it. Why not do both of them together, right? You should be able to do both. Now, if you don't have access to back squat station, then it only makes sense that you use the pistol squat, because it can really be powerful too. But as soon as you have access to the back squat, why not just use it? Why limit yourself in the gains? Because your core is definitely going to be limited in the amount of load that it can carry while working in synergy with your legs to perform. So that's my little experience that I have, and what I think about the transferability of the ability to replace the weighted pistol squat or the pistol squat with the back squat. So there you have it. No matter how strong you get on the pistol squat, the amount of load that your core can sustain would be meaningless compared to what you can achieve whenever you're using the barbell squat. And beside even the performance part, even in terms of muscle gain, the fact that you can load more your upper back with the weight and using your both leg, to over time on a really long run, you are more likely to build more muscle mass doing the back squat than doing the pistol squat, even though you're using one leg. So you can think, oh, okay, I'm using one leg, but for me using one leg and using less weight, it's still like intense. Yeah, it is intense, and don't get me wrong, the pistol squat is really good. Certain sports will be appropriate will make it appropriate to solely use the pistol squat if you don't want to burn yourself using the barbell squat. So I think that's about it. So let's recap. Should you replace? No, don't replace. Just do both. If you can't, you don't have access to the back squat, just do the weighted pistol squat, and you will have to start with the pistol squat itself. As soon as you have access to the back squat, run straight and start working your back squat. You will be a better athlete, you will be a stronger person, you have more potential to build strength and build muscle on the long run. And yes, because you will be very limited by how much load you can carry, which will limit your overall strength, and that's the mistake most people do, especially if you're a purist. Most likely you're not deadlifting and you just happen to work on the pistol squat. Definitely your posterior chain is gonna be hindered, and why missing so much potential. But again, it's all depending on each of us goal. If you just an average individual who want to be as badass as possible overall, do both. If you are a calisthenics athlete who don't really care much about the lower body strength or composition, and you're only competing in street workout and doing a lot of aerial stuff, you don't really need legs, because the more mass you have, the more you'll be limited. So you can just do pistol squat, it will be just fine. Even then, it might build some muscle mass that may hinder you. So some people that I heard about just do sprints for legs and maybe body weight squat. So it's just like everybody just train, should train for their purpose, the training purpose, what they want and what makes them happy. But I think in general, strong legs mean a stronger individual, whether it's time to run, escape something, time to jump, time to fight, to wrestle. This is your base. The stronger your base is, the better individual you are, and there's correlation with leg size, with life expectancy as well. There's a correlation with it. So you have everything to gain from building mass right now, so that you don't have to rush to build later on whenever you get old. So yeah, my advice would be, don't neglect legs, but if you don't need it, don't train it. And should you replace it? No, don't replace, just do both. If you only have access to the pistol squat, the body weight, go for it. It's a really good exercise, and I can testify, right? For 3 years straight, I've only worked bodyweight training, and I had some really good results before I start like messing around with all the discipline. So that's that. Hope it was useful. Everything is, and will always be, the Meckanimal way. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It helps a lot. We'll be serving you guys, but I need you guys to help me out as well, so that we get the channel where it's supposed to be. Peace.
The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will be live.